girls who go online who are searching for information about transgender identity often encounter coaches who tell them to falsify their personal narrative and to claim that they've always been gender dysphoric, despite the fact that that's not the case. Is that a reasonable summary of what you found?
Yes.
So you can see that it's a complete diagnostic mess from a therapist's perspective, and even from a conceptual perspective, because the people who are on the other side of the argument than you, let's say, are going to claim that the reason that these rates have skyrocketed to the point where they're at now is because there were always that many people who had gender dysphoria or who were transgender, but the weight of public opinion was held so strongly against them that they had to stay in the closet, essentially, and were unable to adopt their true identity. And the claim is going to be made as well that you're radically exaggerating the proportion of people who are putting themselves forward for transgender transition procedures, let's say, who have been coached. And you also point out, I guess the other thing that you might conclude is that if the bulk of the proportion of people who were claiming a transgender identity in the past were male, then release of the social strictures on identification should have produced an explosion in males. It's not easy to figure out why there is an explosion in females. Right. Okay, so that leads us to another extremely troublesome topic, which is why the explosion in teenage females. Now, you do attempt to explain that in your book, and so maybe you could outline for the listeners exactly what your conclusions were.
Sure. Teenage girls are famous for falling for every hysteria, right? We know that the way young women, and there are psychologists who've done wonderful work in this area. Amanda Rose is one of the University of Missouri, who I interviewed. Teenage girls tend to spread these psychic epidemics because their modes of friendship involve co-rumination, taking on their friend's pain. They like to rehash their own pain, and they like to take on their friend's pain. And they are even willing to suspend reality in order to sort of get on the team of their friend.